week on Times Drive, it's the one you've been waiting for, the diesel dust-up of the year. We're pitting Honda's great white hope, the Amaze, against the reigning champion, the Suzuki Swift Dezire. Oh yeah, it's the big one, the one you've been waiting for. All the news from Planet Auto, including the latest info about the KTM Duke 390. Our test drive of the all-new 2013 Honda CR-V. And we meet Bollywood star Imran Hashmi for a chat about what makes him tick when it comes to four wheels.
We kind of used to toy around on my dad's bike. We almost dropped it a couple of times. We did drop it a couple of times. Sorry, Dad.
Oh yeah, it's the big one, the one you've been waiting for. What we do today will solve the question of the ages, a question we've been asked many times. The Honda Amaze or the Suzuki Dezire? You know where we are going with this. So maybe we were exaggerating just a tad bit. Perhaps it doesn't matter in the great grand scheme of things whether the Amaze is really better than the Dezire. But there are some out there for whom pen poised over checkbook are just dying to know.
For the rest of us, curiosity abound, the people must know. And if you're in the market shopping for a super compact diesel saloon, this is a life and death situation. There was a time it would have been a no-brainer. I mean, if you're in the market looking for a reasonable, practical small saloon with a diesel engine under the bonnet and a boot at the back, the Swift Dezire was the car to buy. I mean, for almost 3 years now, it has reigned supreme in its segment, and it truly is a jackpot car from Maruti. I mean, I know the styling could have done with some work, so could the rear seats, but there was nothing that could unseat the prince.
Back to the cold motivational roads, no guidance, just violence and probational holds. Thinking my high routes is all out, means I gotta be my way out. Family gathered around, I gotta make them proud.
Because if there's another group of car makers that could unseat the Suzuki, it's Honda. Globally, Honda can do no wrong. Its cars are all bestsellers, but with one exception, India. Because in India, mileage is king and cost is all important. And Honda had not a single diesel engine in its entire roster. Not one to sit down and fret, Honda literally went to the drawing board and created one. It's called the Earth Dreams engines, and this is where they stuck it in. Now this is a 1.5 litre diesel putting out 98.6 horses and 203 newtons of torque, which is quite a bit for a diesel engine in this category. As is with other Honda engines, this one is a peach. Slip the car into gear and the Amaze will zip forward. Power delivery is as flat as a well-made dosa, so you've got no sudden surges or turbo kicks. We've been driving this car in Delhi traffic, and for those of you who don't know, it can be an absolute nightmare, but the Amaze handled it pretty well. Well, we're driving the 5-speed manual version today, and the clutch is nice and light for a diesel. The best part is, because this engine is so responsive in any gear, you don't have to shift constantly, unlike in the Dezire.
Where the Amaze's engine is all new, the Dezire comes kitted with an engine that we're all familiar with. An engine that we all know and love, the Fiat-derived 1.3 litre diesel. Now this is an engine that puts out 74 bhp, far less when compared to Honda's almost 100 bhp output. But when you compare these cars directly, that's where the differences start to pop up. I mean, for the Dezire, you have to coax her up all the way to 2000 RPM because that's where the party starts, and that's where it unloads all the 190 Newton meters of torque it has to offer. And here's where it wins over the Amaze. I mean, the Amaze at low speeds is loud, it's gruff. This, on the other hand, is super smooth, refined, and dare I say, far more fun and engaging to drive. I think the trouble is, I mean, the Amaze is more suited for low-speed city commuting. And though the power difference might seem substantial on paper, out here in the real world, the Dezire is only a second slower in the 0 to 100 dash. So as far as Dezire's performance goes, it's definitely not a deal breaker.
What could be a deal breaker, however, is mileage. Honda, with a combination of newer technology and an extensive use of aluminium and other weight-saving materials, have managed a mileage of 25.8 kilometers per litre, at least according to the ARAI, making it the most fuel-efficient car in the country. The ARAI rating for the Dezire is 22.9 kilometers per litre, which is not bad on any given Sunday, but it's still a sizable margin. And then there's the styling. Both cars are extensions of previously existing hatchbacks, and that makes them familiar to look at. Neither car is especially pretty, and with the Brio skinny tires, it does look a little awkward. However, the Dezire isn't really a Miss Universe winner either, and so here we'd say that both cars are about evenly placed. This is the first time we're in the Amaze, and yet everything seems so familiar. The interiors have been carried forward from the Brio hatchback. This right here is the top-ended version, so you've got some of the bells and whistles like the folding mirrors and the stereo. But overall, the insides do feel a little cut price. Now don't get us wrong, there actually isn't anything wrong with the interior. It's just that when you get into the sedan, you expect perhaps a little bit more. What you do get a lot of though is space. Here's me sitting in the back seat. I've got a lot of legroom, I've got a lot of headroom. And this car has about as much space as the richer cousin, the City, and definitely more space than the Dezire.
Now, the Dezire might have less space for the rear passengers, but what it does have is a premium feel, something that the buyers in this segment are looking forward to. I mean, the plastics, the fit and finish is a lot more plush when you compare it to the Amaze. Now, it may not be all that quirky. I mean, the layout is pretty plain Jane, but the interiors are definitely plush and far more premium.
Which brings us to the big question, which of these cars should you buy? Now when I'm facing a difficult decision, I like to weigh down pros and cons, and here they are. Now, the Honda's got an amazing fuel-sipping engine, but it's quite loud and feels a little hesitant out on the highway. The Dezire, on the other hand, comes with an engine we're all familiar with, feels revvy when you need it to be, and at 22.9 kilometers per litre isn't really bad. The Amaze definitely does have more space on the inside, but then the interiors feel a little Spartan and not completely what you'd expect from a sedan. The Dezire, on the other hand, has as much space as a Swift hatchback, but you will feel better driving one. Add to that Maruti's legendary service network, and you realize that what the decider will really be is the price. And here they are. Again, these numbers are too close to tell. The Honda Amaze Diesel can be yours for an ex-showroom price starting at 6.49 lakh rupees for the base variant, all the way up to 8.1 lakhs for the top-end VX variety. The Swift Dezire, on the other hand, is marginally cheaper, with the LDI beginning at 5.99 lakh rupees, all the way up to the fully loaded ZDI variant for 7.5 lakhs. Moving right along, here's all the news from Planet Auto, including exciting developments from KTM and Mini. Perhaps the most anticipated motorcycle launch of the year, the KTM Duke 390, was officially announced this week, with a solid time frame for the launch. According to sources on the internet, the KTM 390 should be launched a month from today, with deliveries beginning in June. The 375cc bike powers up to an impressive 44 brake HP, a high power-to-weight ratio, and a chassis that just won't quit. With a reported sub-6 second 0 to 100 time. Another reason for the mad excitement? Cost. With plenty of localization, Bajaj has kept the cost down, and launch price should be in the vicinity of about 2 lakh rupees. Mini announced this week that the Countryman, the largest of the Mini series of cars, will from now be assembled in India. This is the first time that any Mini car has been manufactured outside of Europe, and what that means for the Indian car buyer is lower costs. The Mini Countryman will be offered in two diesel variants, the Mini Cooper D Countryman and the Mini Cooper D Countryman High, with the Mini 1 Cooper petrol variant. Prices start at 23.5 lakhs for the petrol, up to 28.9 lakhs for the diesel Highline. More exciting news for luxury car buyers in India. After plenty of dithering, Mercedes finally took the wraps off the anticipated GLA class of mini SUVs. The car to be showed off at Shanghai this weekend is a concept for sure, but the production version will compete directly with already successful cars like the Audi Q3 and the BMW X1. The GLA class will sit on the MFA platform, which it will share with the A and B class of Mercedes cars.